Oh, Draenor, what did you do?
We will never be slaves! But we will be conquerors!
So this one's going to be a bit of a longer one, but not for the right reasons, unfortunately. Warlords of Draenor came along, and oh dear, regardless of what happened for me during this expansion, this for me had to be one of the 2 worst expansions I have ever played in my long history of the game. This may not be a reflection on every player, but for me it was. Playing a bad expansion wasn't the only downfall. The expansion would see other things go wrong. Greed, selfishness, and having the wrong mindset put me into a very familiar position. We started this expansion strong. The guild was going well and everything seemed great. However, we had that need, that wanting for better and a more successful guild. The GM and officers of the guild had meetings and they decided the best course of action for the guild was to recruit some top players. Players who had the same need and wanting that we had. We had lost some players at the start of the expansion, and even more once they realised they didn't want to play this expansion. So we needed players. So why not get ones that wanted to push raids with us? Why not get ones that wanted to be the best of the best? Well, at least on our server anyway. We recruited quite a few players and pushed into High Mall, and we steamrolled through it. It was like we was on a mission. We was dedicated and focused, and we could stop at nothing. This was the time of my life. We were still having a great laugh over cons, and at the same time smashing down bosses like they were unaware Mailocks. Seriously, what could possibly stop us? Well, greed could. You see, there was nothing wrong with what we were doing. We was on top form. Yes, we wasn't even close against top 100 or 500 in the world or anything like that. But we was smashing it and we was chasing for top 1 on our server. And that was enough for some of us. But for the rest, this just wasn't enough. They wanted top spot now. And they didn't ever want to be challenged. Not only did they want top spot on our server, they wanted to be challenging for top 200 at least in the world. This of course was unhealthy and it started the tension that would come about in this guild. As Blacklock Foundry was released, quite a few of the guildies, mostly the new recruits at the start of the expansion, decided that they was going to tear away from the guild and form up with some people from other guilds that was second or third on the server, or first depending. The plan was to make a team of the ultimate players from our server from at least 2 different guilds and nothing would stop them. They whispered me and told me their plan and asked me to join a voice comms call with them. During this call, they laid everything out and asked me to join them. I had very mixed feelings to say the least. On one hand, I felt that although I had come into my own as a player since the start of Mr. Pandaria, I didn't feel like I was good enough to be in a team competing for top 200 spots. This prospect definitely intrigued me, but I had to decline their offer. This guild was my home. It was the guild I started with, and I wanted it to be the guild I ended with. They understood, and that was the end of that. Well, kind of. You see, the problem with what had happened is the guild was dead in the water. We had lost pretty much all of our core raiders, and only the loyal few remained. Even some of the originals from the guild left for this new prospect. This left me in quite a bad position. A few days had passed and we could tell that the atmosphere in the guild was not good. There was no attempt to recruit or even think about raiding again. What was I to do? I didn't want to be not raiding. I didn't want to be back in that slump of just pottering along again. Whilst I was feeling at my worst and selfishly wanted to just quit and leave for the other guild, I got a whispering game. It was one of the officers. I must note that this officer is also one of the people that was a good friend of mine since Bearing Crusade. It was like he could almost sense what was up with me. He simply whispered me and said, "Just go. We won't be raiding again, and I know you need to be raiding. There'll be no hard feelings." I couldn't believe it. It was like a blessing in disguise. It was like permission that I needed. And with it, I selfishly said my goodbyes and left the guild and whispered one of the guys who made this new guild and joined right away. I was still feeling awful about leaving my own guild. But oh my, what a team this team was. We obliterated everything in Blackrock Foundry. Yes, we struggled a bit on a couple of mythic bosses, but in no time at all we had reached Blackhand. And what would be yet again another guild's downfall. How could this happen to me again? Was this punishment for leaving my home guild? After just a few nights of constant wiping on Blackhand, the guild decided that to progress any further and to compete for top spots in the world, they had to do it in another realm. No, I thought to myself, why? I am not leaving this realm just because a few people think it's for the best. They didn't care, and they all transferred, leaving me guildless again. I was done. I've had enough. I'm sick of being stuck in this position, and so I quit.
That peace is the noblest aspiration. But to preserve it, you must be willing to fight. For Azeroth!
Legion came along, and I wasn't there at the beginning. I had no interest, I was exhausted from the game, but I still followed along. I watched cinematics, YouTube videos, etc. After about 6 months, I decided I want to give it another go. After all, no one really ever quits WoW. I joined back and did the same old pottering around, did some LFR, and generally just tried to enjoy the expansion, and I did. I was having fun again. The home guild was still about, but not really raiding, and I was too embarrassed to even think about joining them again. So I decided to have a look around and instead joined a more casual, kind of semi-hardcore guild. They raided 3 nights a week, which was fine, and seemed to progress at a nice steady pace. However, there was one flaw. They wanted me to play a mage. I wasn't too happy about this, but it was the only spot they had free. You know what? Why the hell not? Let's play a mage. What a big mistake in hindsight. I joined towards the end of Tomb of Sargeras and didn't really do much in it, but Antorus was up next and I was determined to shine on my new temporary main, the Mage. We started Antorus and I got a feeling within the guild that something just wasn't right. I just put it down to missing my home guild and shrugged it off. We ventured forth and I struggled madly on my Mage. I was frantically trying to min-max where I could. Get the right legendary from the ridiculous list of legendaries in Legion and get my stats in the right place. But it was all for nothing. I just couldn't keep up with the DPS. Fortunately, the other mage was far superior than me, and he gave me lots of words of encouragement. He suggested I try Frost. I was fire at the time. The next raid I switched to Frost and got a whisper from the GM demanding I went back to fire. In hindsight, this should have been a sign. So I did. I struggled, I did enough DPS to keep my spot, but was finding myself constantly struggled to stay ahead of the bottom. What the hell was I going to do? I asked the GM if I could try with my monk. No, we don't have any room for any more melee. Well, okay then. I sighed and just continued to try pushing as hard as I could. The guild had quite the turnover of players, with people coming and going constantly, but there was never any room for my monk. Well, until we did an ult raid. You see, after we'd cleared the whole raid, the guild decided to start doing ult runs as an extra day. And on the first ult run, I got to bring my monk. And after that ult run, the GM whispered me, "Do you want to play your monk as your main?" Of course I do. Hell yes. We continued to clear Antorus with no problems. It was casual, but enough dedication to get things done. Then she came along. As I said, we had quite the turnover of players, and we had some new players turn up, and one of them is this woman who I instantly had an attraction for. Now I want to be clear on something here. I have played with female players throughout my whole history of WoW. Every guild, close friends, and I never seen them as anything different than the male players. We're all gamers, we're all players, we're just trying to have fun. But this one struck something with me, and little did I know that it was going to be the start of something amazing. This woman was incredible. Every time I spoke to her I felt amazing. We'd play a lot together, either in World of Warcraft or other games. Surely nothing would happen though, right? Well, that's what I thought to myself anyway, but I couldn't stop the feelings I had every time I spoke to her or saw her come online. It was so immense that I had to pursue it further. After quite some time, I found out that she had feelings for me too. I was shocked, but kind of felt like a kid at Christmas. After some time, we met in real life, and it was everything I hoped it would be. We connected on another level, and I knew right there this was going to be the woman I would spend the rest of my life with. After some time doing the long distance thing, we moved in together, and this amazing woman would become known as Evermist. Now, the end of Legion didn't go well. As you may have suspected, the GM of the guild wasn't the nicest, and it caused the guild to fall apart. But I wasn't bothered at this part. World of Warcraft had just become a game, and nothing more. Of course, Evermist was also a World of Warcraft player, so the game was not going to go away, but at this time it certainly didn't have any importance. Legion ended, and along came the battle with boredom.
Stand as one for the Alliance!
Okay, this one's going to be really short. Both Evermist and myself entered into BFA together, which on its own was kind of epic. No, not kind of epic, it was epic. But unfortunately for the game, it was the only kind of epic we experienced. The game was not good. Maybe this is just a personal experience, maybe not. But because of everything else going on in our lives, we didn't really feel BFA at all. We played it, but never really did anything. One factor that came into play during this time was the fact that we was expecting. We was going to have a baby, and World of Warcraft definitely wasn't a priority. We decided to take an extended break from the game to focus more on our real life. So yeah, that's pretty much BFA for us, and for myself. Not really got a history there at all, but all was not lost because our latest chapter was to reveal itself in style. Oh Banshee Queen, what have you done?
Set us all free.
Oh, we were so pumped for this. This would be the expansion that we would tackle together properly as a couple. Our daughter was a little older now, and it gave us some playing opportunities. I managed to convince Evermist to join the green side of the Force, and she rolled into a monk, a Mistweaver to be exact, and a damn fine one too. We would become known as the Dynamic Duo, or just simply the Evers. It was hard for us to get started in Shadowlands, and we had transferred to another realm, and to the Horde. But that realm was dying also, and as such we struggled to find our footing. We decided to transfer again to a much busier realm, and we are now part of a guild that is doing mythic progress in Sanctum of Domination, and I hope this will not only be my new home guild, but our new home guild. I will never forget the guild I called home, and sometimes I like to recall memories of the times I had with them, and will never forget it. World of Warcraft is more than just a game. It gives you memories to enjoy, it gives you enjoyment even on sad days. The majority of the playbase in World of Warcraft are such amazing people, and have a good time with them whilst playing the game is just the best feeling. So that leads us to the other question. Why do I still play World of Warcraft after almost 15 years, if not more? Well, to be honest with you, if you don't know by the end of this video, you should probably go back and watch it again. And then ask yourself, why wouldn't I play World of Warcraft? Thank you so much for watching. I wanted my first video on my channel to be something that was a bit close to me. It would be World of Warcraft. I've been playing it for a long time. And I just hope you enjoyed my personal history. If you did, please subscribe so you can be notified when I upload more. I hope to upload about 1 video every week to 2 weeks at the moment. I'm not entirely sure what direction I'm going with YouTube at the minute, but I do stream live on Twitch a few nights a week. So you can catch me there if you want, playing World of Warcraft with the lovely Evermist for the most part. You can find the link in the description. It's been an absolute pleasure giving you my history, guys. And if you have any stories you'd like to tell, then just let me know in the comments. Until next time, guys, goodbye.